after a down season this year. A 15-point win. Devon Achane, 215 yards on the ground, 2 rushing touchdowns. Moose Muhammad, the son of Musi Muhammad, a former NFL receiver, 5 catches, nearly 100 yards, and a receiving touchdown. And it was a receiving touchdown that you got to see. It was one-handed, making his papa proud. He made a couple of nice catches in this game. And it's Texas A&M that was catching points. You didn't even need them. You were getting 9.5. They win by 15 and pull off the upset. The 5th team in the nation goes down for the 2nd week in a row. Last week was Tennessee. This week, it's LSU. Get some instant analysis. CBS Sports HQ college football analyst Barrett Sallee with us here. Your reaction here to LSU, I mean, we were ready to crown LSU in terms of having this narrative change, that they were a different team, and now I don't know what to think.
Well, I don't either. I thought this game was going to be a blowout in LSU's favor. I mean, what was there to suggest that Texas A&M would have its highest point total of the season against LSU when LSU was headed to the SEC championship game? Nothing. This was a down-and-out Texas A&M team, and suddenly they found magic that they have not found before. And it wasn't just A-Chain. You mentioned Moose Muhammad, Evan Stewart. Like, this is the team that we were counting on seeing all season long, and it just wasn't there. I am absolutely stunned. You know, LSU didn't really have college football playoff hopes, but if they were going to get there, they needed to beat Texas A&M, get style points, beat Georgia, probably get style points too. The first part of that equation is the one that we thought would be easy. I am just absolutely stunned that a team that has Harold Perkins on it could not slow down a Texas A&M offense that had been brutal all season long.
Yeah, I don't really know what to make of this, because you're right. If they beat Texas A&M and then they beat Georgia somehow, some way, a miracle, they might be the first 2-loss team into the college football playoff. But that ain't happening now with 3 losses. So now it's a disappointing finish for LSU after such high hopes. Jaden Daniels got banged up in this game. Did not have a touchdown, not on the ground, not through the air. He came in and out of the game, was injured. There was a play at the end of the game that was ultimately ruled incomplete. Would have made it a 1-score game. Looked like maybe the receiver had his foot down. It was ultimately reviewed. There wasn't enough evidence to overturn it, so it basically became a moot point. But they were trying to come from behind all night long. I mean, this wasn't the same LSU team that we saw that beat Tennessee, the same LSU team that beat Alabama, or excuse me, lost to Tennessee but beat Alabama. Like, I'm just sort of like, what happened from like then to now?
Yeah, they were in panic mode, it seems like, all game long. Devon Achane in the first quarter to give Texas A&M the lead. John Emery came back and tied it up, and then John Emery's second touchdown run in the third quarter tied it up again at 17, and then A&M ripped off 3 straight touchdowns, and it began with Damani Richardson's scoop and score. It just seemed like everything that was going LSU's way just kind of deflated. They always seemed to be in panic mode, and it's odd because that has not been the MO of this LSU team all year long. I mean, they were down 17 points to Auburn, came back and won on the road. Even that ugly game that, Hakeem, you and I were on after the FSU loss in week 1.
Yep.
And everything went wrong for LSU for 3.5 quarters, and they still had a chance to tie it up at the gun with an extra point. I mean, the DNA of this team was to never panic. And it seemed like from the moment that Devon Achane scored that first touchdown, they were in panic mode the entire game. And I don't know if that's something that, if Brian Kelly did something different in game preparation this week, or maybe he just looked past Texas A&M. I can't imagine Brian Kelly looking past Texas A&M. But, I mean, it was not the same LSU team we had seen all year, and certainly not the one that earned the SEC West championship.
All right, so what's next for Texas A&M? Season's over, but this was a team that was heralded coming in, #1 recruiting class. Jimbo Fisher's offense is stagnant. It's archaic. What's next for Jimbo Fisher and the Aggies as they head into the offseason? No bowl game for Texas A&M, but they do snap a 6-game conference losing streak.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think there's reason that people are going to be confident in Texas A&M, but it is only 1 game. It is only one game. And I think when you look at Jimbo Fisher's track record, he's stubborn. He's not going to change his ways. That's just the way it is. So if there's hype for Texas A&M going into next season, I think it's very premature. Let's see how this continues. I think first things first, retaining talent is job number one for Jimbo Fisher. And there might be a lot of talent looking to hit the transfer portal in College Station.
All right, so then what has to happen, if anything, for LSU? Like it's the shot. We're completely saying it's over? Like they have no shot, right, to get in the playoff? Or are you saying there's a small 1%, 0.00 whatever 9% chance?
Not even a Lloyd Christmas and Dumb and Dumber. So you're telling me there's a chance. I mean, there's no chance. I mean, look, LSU, the third loss, just too much for them to overcome. I don't care if they beat Georgia. It's just not going to happen.
No, you're right. I mean, I know. Now it takes some of the sizzle out of the SEC.
And now it's going to happen, of course, right? Now it's not. It's bound to happen.
It's not happening.
You're right.
Georgia will maybe play around like they did with Georgia Tech today and go down 7-0 and then score like 31 unanswered, take out Stetson Bennett, let just run the football, maybe take the under in that game unless LSU wants to get frisky. I don't see how LSU this is a loss that sort of you don't come back from because it shattered your shot.
Doubt.
And look, they had really, and I'm not saying they had no business, but they didn't have the expectations. Like let's at least temper this here because LSU coming into the season, they were unranked. They had no expectations to be contending for a college football playoff spot. So to even be in this conversation, to me, is somewhat sort of a win for Brian Kelly in his first season in Baton Rouge.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, there's no doubt. It's a sour note. Obviously, you don't want to go into the offseason like this, or at least go into the SEC championship game like this. But we were here after the Florida State game. You said 5 wins. I said 6 wins max. And this team's got 9.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a tremendous amount of success for Brian Kelly in year one, especially considering he was at a pretty significant personnel disadvantage in terms of quantity, much less quality.
Well, it's interesting, too, because the team he left, Alabama.
Wow. I mean, quarterbacks at Alabama are expected to win national championships, and he just didn't put that feather in his cap. But the way he played, the way he led, I mean, for his years here, I mean, Alabama was the team to beat. They just couldn't quite get over the hump. Last year was the injuries to the wide receivers late in the season. I think that really changed the football team, and when they played Georgia, they didn't have enough firepower. This year, I think that injury to Bryce Young really changed Alabama. They didn't get the work in their young receivers. I really believe they're playing their best football right now, but as you said, it may be a little late. A lot of stuff would have to happen for them to get into the big argument.
You know what it takes to play in the National Football League. From what you've seen of Bryce Young, does he have what it takes to play at the next level?
Oh, of course. There's a lot of different sizes and shapes, but, he has the anticipation, the quick feet. He doesn't get hit hard a lot because he can just feel the pass rush in a lot of different areas. He understands defenses. We talked to Bill O'Brien, a former offensive coordinator for the New England Patriots when he had Tom Brady and, of course, a head coach. And he said he actually learned things from Bryce of how a quarterback thinks and what he looks at and how long he feels comfortable in the pocket before he has to make decisions. So, yeah, he's got a good package. Now, he does have to find a team that kind of builds around what he does well. Alabama built around him. They changed their style of offense. He likes to drop back. He likes to kind of read the defense. He doesn't like a lot of play-action pass. And to use him properly, they would have to sell out to him, much like Miami. The Dolphins have sold out finally to Tua, and Tua is finally finding his game in the NFL.
Threw a touchdown in 26 straight games. Set an Alabama record for consecutive games where the passing touchdown had been tied from the man you just mentioned, Tua Tagovailoa. Meantime, for Auburn, they lose 7 games for the first time in 10 years, looking for a new head coach, even with Cadillac Williams doing a very nice job here at the end of the season. Gary, what do you make of where?
Well, I think it's in a lot better shape than a lot of people anticipated when the change was made from Brian Harsin. I mean, what they went through in the offseason with all the rumors and what was going to happen, and it looked very divisive within the program. But I think Cadillac kind of brought them all together. They're all on the same page right now, and they're proud of their program. They're holding this recruiting class together. Cadillac has done a magnificent job. Everyone with that program owes them a debt of gratitude from now on. I don't know if he'll be the head coach. If you ask my opinion, I think they'll go a different direction long term and keep Cadillac in a position, associate head coach, pay him good money because he belongs to be with this program a long time. But, the names have been batted around. It looks like Lane's not coming. But Hugh Freeze knows this league.